Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Off and running, hour number 3 after further review here on a Tuesday, presented by your hometown John Deere dealer. That's Sunshine here in Louisiana. They have a lane train bonfire for the bonfires on the river coming up here Christmas Eve. It's pretty cool, actually. Anyway, Musso in for Moscona. Jordan Kitchens, Taylor Sharp, they're along for the ride. Glad you're along for the ride as well. 2 hours in the books and one more to go for us here this week before we take the rest of it off for the Christmas holiday. Obviously, we wish all of you a very happy, healthy, and safe Merry Christmas. And thank you for spending some of your Christmas holiday time if you're already on it with us, or making us a part of it as we send you off into it here in this final hour. Plenty to do. Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net. He's going to join us here in about 14 minutes or so. Marler also hosts the Locked On Gamecocks podcast. I know he has some thoughts on Sterling Lucas taking the LSU job. We're going to kick some bowl season around with Marler because this is really your first big weekend of bowl season starting Saturday. There's a pretty nice slate, a couple ranked matchups as well. And, of course, LSU plays Houston. So we'll do all that with Marler here in about 14 minutes or so. Saints-Titans final thoughts and wrap it up with Otter Locks. But we'll start with final thought on the Kinder's Texas Bowl, LSU and Houston. Saturday night, 8:15 is your kickoff time there. Houston, a slight 2.5-point favorite in this game. They come into it 9-3. LSU comes into it 7-5, looking to close out Frank Wilson's time as the interim head coach and time at LSU in general with a win. LSU, they have some opt-outs, but they'll have a bulk of the roster together. Houston looks like they're going to have just about their full complement of players in this game, especially their top players. They are going to play against LSU, hence the Cougars being the favorite. I'll give you some keys to the game and things of that nature towards the end of the segment, but I think what most everybody is interested in is what can we learn about LSU in the future from this game. And that's really what bowl season has become. That's really what bowl games are now about, is the practices leading up to and auditions for guys maybe to, have their spot on the team, move up in the coach's eyes, or put film out there for when they enter the transfer portal. And LSU's got plenty of those guys. So when you look at this and you say, all right, who is LSU going to have? Well, Garrett Nussmeier won't be in the game, right? On offense as well, Aaron Anderson, he has accepted his invite, he is declared for the NFL draft, so you're not going to have him in this game on the offensive side. Josh Thompson is not going to play in this game on the offensive side either. You flip over the defense, you'll have no Weeks brothers, West or Witt. I guess Zach could get some time, but no Witt, no West Weeks, no Jack Pyburn, no Mansour Delane, no AJ Halsey as well. So there are some opt-outs. So that opens the door for a lot of young guys to get time. I want to start really at the linebacker spot because LSU has recruited so well at linebacker the last few years that you didn't even take one in the 2026 cycle. And they love the guys that they have. With no West Weeks, with no Witt Weeks, you're going to see Devon Keys and Tylen Singleton get the start more than likely in the Texas Bowl and play the lion's share of those reps. And those are two guys that have played sparingly. Devon Keys more than Tylen Singleton. And there's been mixed returns, obviously, with a guy like Devon Keys so far. Man, he got thrust into things in 2024 late in the season and really acquitted himself quite nicely. Had some rougher moments here in 2025, notably against Vanderbilt. But it's a guy with a high upside and who has flashed so far at LSU. To really see him get another full game under his belt, excited to see that. Obviously, with Tylen Singleton, you just haven't seen it in the bulk that you obviously had with a guy like Devon Keys. So that's nice. But eventually, when those guys have to rotate out, one thing I'm excited about is who could potentially come in after them. How about getting Charles Ross some time? Charles Ross played in 10 games this year for LSU, but they're really high on him. A freshman linebacker like Jaden Breaker, who's played in 4. Well, now he can get in there. a bowl game doesn't count towards your red shirt. His red shirt is preserved. Maybe even, as we mentioned just a few minutes ago, Zach Weeks potentially getting in there. You can really see the depth and what they love about that class that they've brought in, specifically last year's linebacker class going forward here at LSU. So that's one thing I'm really, really interested to see is the young linebackers that LSU can get into this game against Houston. In the secondary, it's much of the same. There'll be no Harold Perkins at the star position, so you'll see Jordan Gilbert go in there. You have not seen Jordan Gilbert play since Oklahoma, and before that, it was since Florida. He played the first 3 games of the year, preserved the red shirt, played the Oklahoma game to give him 4, and now the bowl game won't count. He performed really well against Clemson. That's the game he played his most snaps in, and it's the game he graded out highest in as well. He's got even more time to heal up from the injury from last year. I'm very intrigued to see what you get out of Jordan Gilbert in this game. With no A.J. Halsey, that's going to usher in Deshaun Spears. Deshaun Spears has played very, very well so far. Played very, very well so far this season and really in his LSU career in limited duty. You think he played 168 snaps. We talked about it a little bit on yesterday's shows. And in those 168 snaps, he graded out as LSU's second highest defender overall. He had great games against Florida and Alabama. So he is an ascending player, and you get in a full game now, at a safety spot. I love to see that. Same can be said for DJ Pickett, y'all, with no Mansour Delane. Like, you're going to get a full game of DJ Pickett, who was the highest graded freshman corner in the SEC. The fact that he was not up for some type of Freshman of the Year award is a joke, quite honestly. I mean, the guy infected the quarterback in sacks. He had multiple interceptions. I think it was only like a 30. I don't have the number in front of me, so I actually probably shouldn't do this. I might misspeak. But he had the lowest completion percentage against him of any freshman cornerback in the SEC this year. He was awesome, and you'll get to see him in a full game. So, man, that's great. And I mean, it'll be another game for Michael Van Buren and whatnot. So I really want to see those young guys, specifically on defense. When you flip to the offensive side, it's the O-line. And we talked about this briefly earlier in the show when we talked about Cohen Eccles entering the transfer portal. LSU's got bodies, and LSU has talent on the offensive line. And Eccles is going to play in the bowl game despite being in the portal, and so is Carius Kern. You'll have Braylon Moore out there, Tyree Adams, all of those guys, DJ Chester, Weston Davis, they're all playing in this bowl game. And if you're talking about guys who need to go out there and play hard, and this can serve as an audition for you, either whether it be for LSU or for your next destination in the transfer portal, look no further than the offensive line for that group. So I really, really want to see how they show out. That was something we wanted to see in the Texas Bowl a year ago against Baylor, and they really acquitted themselves quite nicely in that game. They do that again. It's, first of all, go a long way to their future at LSU and their development with new coach Eric Wolford, but it could also go a long way to LSU winning this football game. Because when you look at that, LSU's offense is what you're staring at as a big part of the equation in this game against Houston. So what does it look like? I said I'd give you some keys. I'm going to start on defense. Because when you look at Houston, they are a team that wants to run the ball and control the clock. That's what they've done best this year. They don't score a bunch of touchdowns. They haven't been the best red zone team. They're kind of middle of the pack in red zone touchdown percentage because the field shrinks on them and they haven't actually really been able to run the ball down there very well, which is odd. But that's why their production in the red zone has shrunk down in terms of touchdowns. But they want to run the ball and control the clock. For reference, they have run for 2,100 yards this year. They have thrown for just over 2,500. It's what they want to do. Connor Wegman is their quarterback from Texas A&M. We kind of know how that goes. He has been better at Houston, I think, for a majority of reasons. One, the run game has certainly helped him. Two, he's now playing Big 12 defenses week in and week out instead of SEC defenses. Well, now you step back into the SEC if you're Connor Wegman. And here's the thing. LSU's secondary, I think, will have success in this game. DeMarcus Cooley's going to play in the game. You got P.J. Woodland, as we mentioned, DJ Pickett, Deshaun Spears. You'll have Jordan Gilbert out there. Like, you have capable guys in the LSU secondary. I still think they will be able to lock down two really good receiving options for Houston. And Amir Thomas, who is 100 and some odd yards, he is 104 yards shy of 1,000 on the season. And then Tanner Koziel is arguably the best tight end in college football, at least statistically. He led FBS tight ends in receptions this year. He's been awesome. He's going to the Senior Bowl. That's who the LSU secondary is really going to be charged with, tasked with defending and shutting down. But I like their opportunities to do that with who you have left. The thing is, I do worry about LSU in the run game in this one because of the opt-outs that you have, specifically at the linebacker spot, and no Jack Pyburn, who is a phenomenal run defender for you. That does worry me. I do think Houston will be able to run the ball successfully against LSU, which not many teams have been able to do without a mobile quarterback. So if you're LSU, it's pretty simple. You have to shut down the run and force Connor Wegman to beat you with his arm, because while his numbers are better, he is still not a great passer of the football. We know that. We've all seen that, and that hasn't really changed very much. So if you're LSU, that is your path to victory on the defensive side, is make Houston one-dimensional and make Connor Wegman have to beat you with his arm, because you still have a pretty tooled-up secondary to defend with. Offensively for LSU, I mean, you're going up against a Houston defense, which isn't great. I think it was 6th in the Big 12 from what I was looking at earlier. They will have full complement of guys there to defend against an LSU offense that has just been poor, to say the least. And you'll be without Aaron Anderson, who's been one of your most reliable receivers for the last 2 years. And I definitely think that matters, but that could open the door for a guy like Nick Anderson to maybe come in a little bit more, provided he's healthy. Trey'Dez Green obviously will be a huge weapon for LSU. Houston does not have anybody on their team that can match up with that guy. They just don't, because not many people do. But LSU has got to find a way to establish the run. It's the same thing we've talked about all season with this team. If they can establish some sort of a running game, whether that be with Harlan Berry and Caden Durham, maybe a nice mix of Michael Van Buren extending plays, but his decision-making and accuracy has got to be better. And I just don't know if he's going to have the time in the pocket to sit back there and make those decisions and throw. LSU's offensive line, they have not been good all season long. I mean, they have really, 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 really struggled. But I will tell you this, I think LSU's offense really hampers it here in this game as well, even against a Houston team that isn't great, but they're solid on defense. They're just kind of a solid team in general. And I think it is an uphill battle. LSU is the more talented team. I think LSU will actually have more fire under them playing in this game because of the Frank Wilson element. They want to send him out a winner. This team wants to send Frank Wilson out a winner. But the one thing they can't do is get into a high-scoring game. LSU has got to muddy and muck this game up on Saturday with their defense, because you haven't seen it all year. And I don't think now all of a sudden the LSU offense has a 40-point effort in them. We'll see. They will take on the Houston Cougars in the Texas Bowl on Saturday, 8:15 kick. That'll close out the 2025 season. We'll have a recap for you on Monday's show. We'll grab a break right now. Come back, continue bowl game conversation. Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net. He hops on next on AFR.
After further review.
Let's Rev, R-E-V, letsrev.com, letsrev.com. You ever just get super frustrated at super slow internet? Oh, we've all been there, man. The little spinning wheel, slamming your keyboard or your mouse, pounding the desk because it's so frustrating. Your internet's so slow. Storm comes, knocks the power out, knocks the internet out, knocks the cable out. You're so frustrated. Maybe that's just me because I get kind of angry about things. But it's annoying. Nobody wants that to happen. Rev can help. They're local and 5 gigs, lightning fast speeds, and backed by an all-fiber network. Fiber. It's buried under the ground. I mean, you don't have to worry about a storm coming knocking the power lines down. Let's Rev. Listen, more than 70,000 Louisiana homeowners and business owners trust Rev. You should as well. REV. 90 years of local experience. Let'sRev.com. Let'sRev.com.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, we roll along here Tuesday edition of AFR presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Musso in for Moscona. We welcome on Chris Marler now, LouisianaSports.net, locked on Gamecocks. You can get him on Twitter, X, at Vern Funquist _. Is that right now, Marler? At Vern, is the underscore at the end?
Vern _ Funquist.
Vern Funquist for Chris Marler on Twitter. How's it going, man? I feel like I haven't talked to you in a few hours.
Yeah, it's great. I appreciate you having me on, man. I'm excited. It's been I'm just ready for it to get to the final week of the year, where I don't know if it's like Wednesday or February, but there's like 3 meaningless bowl games on every day, and I can't wait.
That seems to start this weekend. We'll get to that because Saturday's slate is actually pretty appetizing. It's the first kind of full Saturday of bowl season. But before, I mean, look, you obviously do the Locked On Gamecocks podcast. I know you and I were talking earlier about Sterling Lucas coming over to LSU to be the defensive line coach. What do you make of that move?
I think it's the best move out of any of the assistant coaches, and I say that knowing full well how good of a coach Charlie Weiss Jr. is, and a couple of those guys that are key pieces like Kevin Smith coming over to coach the running backs. Sterling Lucas is a guy that, like, you think about the success he had in South Carolina, and I know as Elijah Robinson was rumored. I think this is a much better hire than Elijah Robinson because it's very rare. And honestly, man, maybe Frank Wilson's a good example of this. As much as we all love Frank Wilson, it's very rare to have a combination of like that guy is elite at identifying talent and then developing talent, but also still a very, very good recruiter at a high level in the toughest conference in the country, like in the SEC. So that guy was the key recruiter for a lot of the big time recruits that South Carolina got out of that DMV area up in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area. And it was, and I think on his little short list and resume of guys that he signed to Carolina, it was Lenore Sellers, Nick Harbor, and Dylan Stewart. Kind of shocked that Dylan Stewart just announced he's going to stay at South Carolina and not follow him to LSU. But I think that's a home run hire for Kiffin. And a guy, like I said, that can recruit, but not just that, but like identifying the talent and then putting them in the NFL, or taking a guy like Kyle Kennard out of the portal, who's a former 3-star recruit that he turned into the SEC Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, and the Nagurski winner as well.
Yeah,
I mean it was a great year in 2024 for Kyle Kennard, obviously of South Carolina. You're right, man. I mean, look, the staff that Kiffin put together, it looks awesome on paper, and that's the only way we can judge it right now because. You know, we don't even know what the team's going to look like next year. They haven't had a spring or been able to coach a game yet. Let's talk some bowl games, specifically Saturday, because, I mean, you've got some marquee names, even matching up against each other here. A lot of Power 4 on Power 4. How about this? I think going into the season, a lot of people thought we could see Penn State and Clemson in the postseason, just not in the Bad Boy Mowers Pinstripe Bowl. But that's what we get, and Clemson's a 3-point favorite. Anything you like in that one?
There's not a single thing I like in that.
Really?
The only thing I like is that the two teams and the team that plays in the stadium they'll be playing in all consistently underachieved this year, and I think every single one of those fan bases deserved it. There's nothing more fitting than the two top 5 teams playing in a place that they could not have underachieved more during the Major League Baseball season. So I'm pumped about that. I think it'll be interesting to see kind of who's left at Penn State. I don't know. I don't even know what the line is. I would hammer Clemson.
Clemson 3.
Oh, hammer Clemson. Because I don't think that Penn State – I don't know who's there anymore. I think Matt Campbell, it's just him and the Will Smith Fresh Prince meme, where it's just him in the living room. I don't know if there's anybody still remaining from that recruiting class or that's not left in the portal.
All right, one that I know you'll actually have thoughts on because it involves an SEC team is the game right before LSU and Houston in the Texas Bowl. And it's Virginia and Missouri. And look, for Missouri, it's going to be Matt Zollers at quarterback. Bo Perbula's already entered the portal. He's not going to play in the bowl game. Obviously, he was dealing with injuries and whatnot. Anyway, they'll face Virginia, the surprise team of the ACC until they weren't, and it was Duke. Missouri's a 4-point favorite, though, in the Gator Bowl on Saturday night.
Yeah, I tell you what, this is big for me personally for a number of reasons, but mainly because Matt Zollers, I would really like to get ahead of the NIL train next year and profit off his name myself with the Zollers Dollar Bills reference. If he can get things going in that bowl game, I do think from a beat your chest and brag about your conference alignment or conference ties type of angle. That's a really big game. You're talking about the 8th best team in the SEC. That's a 4-point favorite of the regular season champ from the ACC. So I think that'll be really interesting. I think one of those teams will probably be playing with a lot more of a chip on their shoulder. But I will also say, and that would be Virginia, but I will also say there's a few times that I think that Eli Drinkwitz would ever turn down an opportunity to go prove a point to somebody. And he would have the opportunity to prove a point if he can take an 8-4 Missouri team to a 9th win, the third straight season with nine or more wins, and then also beat, like I said, the regular season ACC champs.
Yeah, and I mean, but that's the thing with Virginia, right, though, Chris, is, I mean, can Tony Elliott get that team back in the right headspace? I mean, they could have been playing in the playoff last weekend had they just taken care of business against Duke, and now they're in the Gator Bowl. You know, I mean, I think that is something to kind of guard against as well with the Cavaliers in that one. And, I mean, look, Missouri's a good team. Like, Missouri's not great. They're not elite. There's a good team. They're more than capable of going in there and winning. I think kind of winning handedly. See, I'm wondering if I should wait and do the Pop-Tarts Bowl last or LSU.
Let's do the Pop-Tart Bowl first because we have to take our job seriously.
All right. Pop-Tarts Bowl, the only ranked-on-ranked matchup, the first ranked-on-ranked matchup, I believe, in bowl season so far, Georgia Tech and BYU.
Listen, I almost called you, but you were on air. So that's me.
Well, thank you.
Respecting your professionalism.
I appreciate that.
Because only one of us has that. And that's fine. I'm fine with that. But I will tell you, I got a text from a buddy of mine that I used to do stand-up with in Atlanta, and Jordan Eichenblatt, and he goes, "Hey, man, I just want to say thanks for all the support." And I was like, "Did you mean to send me this? Is this like a mass Christmas text that I don't want to be a part of?" And he's like, "No, the stuff with like the Pop-Tart Bowl." And I was like, "Are you affiliated with the Pop-Tart Bowl?" Find out. This dude is like the head of marketing, which is the best bowl of the season. It is the best bowl. Absolutely. Listen, I've got a lot of friends that I'm very proud to know, and I'm very proud of all the great things they've accomplished. The new power rankings came out, my friends, today, and Jordan Eichenblatt just soared to the top. I mean, he's number one on the big board there. No, but the Pop-Tart Bowl, man, it's just like it's so great because it's so fun for what bowl games should be. And I was like, I get where Notre Dame's coming from not playing in it. I think this is such a great matchup. I think it'll be so much fun. Haynes King, he will be beaten into a bloody stump like he is every single game that he plays in that offense, and then he will probably emerge victorious. I think it's two really good teams that for a while we thought were going to both make the college football playoff when they were either going in the month of November before they had any coordinators leave, like Georgia Tech with Lester Faulkner. So very excited about that bowl. Probably the only bowl I'm as excited about the on-field part of it as I am about the off-field part of it, because that's going to be must-see TV.
Yeah, the Pop-Tarts Bowl is always must. The helmets are awesome this year.
The helmets are awesome.
Love the helmets. I'm sure they're going to put another Pop-Tart in a toaster, which is just great. I wonder if the other one from last year is going to come back from the dead too, like Strawberry Pop-Tart did in the last iteration of the Pop-Tart Bowl. And also, huh? What'd you say? Oh, did I just?
Is that too much? Pop-Tart Jesus? I probably shouldn't have said that.
No, I didn't hear you. I was asking what you were saying. I did not hear a word that you said. And the other thing is now, so are we going to the Pop-Tarts Bowl next year?
I think we might be going to the Pop-Tart Bowl next year.
You have an in. You have an in.
I would rather go to that than the national championship. Unless LSU's in it or one of my 8 teams that I cheer for, I would love to do that.
I kind of agree that I'd rather go to the Pop-Tart Bowl than the national championship.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else in bowl season so far that's coming up that you want to talk about before we get to LSU in Houston?
Rose Bowl game might got a little bit more interesting.
Okay. I mean, but that's a week from Thursday. Like, we got time for that.
Yeah. Well, I was just going to say LT Overton, Alabama defensive lineman, just posted that he might be back for it. So kind of breaking news there, which would be pretty good as well. But no, let's talk about the Houston Bowl, Texas Bowl.
All right. Texas Bowl, LSU and Houston. LSU's got the opt-outs in this one. Houston doesn't. The Cougs are a slight favorite, 2.5. It's actually moved from 3 to 2.5 today. So I guess a little bit more in favor of LSU. What intrigues you about this matchup here?
Man, just a new setting for LSU to be in. A new city for them to travel to. Not something we've seen even under a year ago. It's cool that we got just different vibes here. I think if you would have asked an LSU fan, would you? What if I told you you were going to be, instead of the CFP, you're going to be back in the Texas Bowl. I think they would have fought you on the site. I do think it's still a big game. I think it'll be a fun game because you're talking about a ranked, what people, at least I forget about a lot, it's a ranked Power 4 opponent because they are part of the Big 12 now. You got a former Aggie that you can hopefully harass at quarterback all night, Connor Wegman. So, there's some storylines there. I think for me, it's you send Frank Wilson out the right way. Who on this defense because you know that it's going to be a very, very big portal class. You and I were joking about this earlier today in the office. That LSU might sign 25 guys in the portal, and that might be light considering how much turnover will happen anytime there's a new coach. So I think that'll be interesting. Who kind of makes a name for themselves, whether it is if they go into the portal, then they can put stuff on film. That's one of the things I feel like I finally have realized about the portal, especially in the NFL part of it, where in having backups in bowl games, backups during the season, like actually able to put stuff on film. Everyone wants to be paid now. It's hard to do that if you're seeing the field roll. So it's an opportunity for every single kid that steps out on the field to make a reason why the coach should, I hate to use this phrase, but it's the day and age of college football, re-sign them, or if they want to go elsewhere and hopefully make some a little bit of a payday for themselves before if they're even able to go to the NFL. So I think it'll be some fun stuff. It feels like there's starting to be a reason to play again and take the bowl games somewhat seriously, even though the starters will be out. It'll be interesting because at the very least, you've got guys on both sides in most of these bowls that are opting out, not just the marquee guys anymore.
Yeah, man, I talked about this in the last segment, and you just brought it up too. The Frank Wilson component of this is interesting because LSU definitely has the most opt-outs out of the two teams in this game, and it's not often that you see the team with the opt-outs play the hardest. But I think that's going to be the case on Saturday because they want to send Frank out a winner, and when you have the talent advantage, that's really something to. You have a motivated, more talented team that could end up being the difference on Saturday night. Chris Marler, LouisianaSports.net, Locked On Gamecocks, at Vern_Funquist on Twitter X. We appreciate you hopping on, man. Merry Christmas, and I'll probably talk to you later or next week for sure.
Yeah, I'll talk to you guys then. Y'all have a good Christmas.
All right, man. Later. That is Chris Marler. We're going to grab a break, come back on the other side. It's After Further Review, presented by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Before we grab that break, a message from Matt about Shawbills.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shawbills. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires at the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil changed, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shawbills. Let them give it the once-over. And you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shawbills credit card only at Shawbills.
All right, a couple more segments here to go before we send you into your Christmas holiday, and we'll take our Christmas holiday as well. We're back on Monday, no shows the rest of the week. We'll grab a break, come back on the other side, give you our final thoughts on Saints-Titans. That is Sunday. Saints looking to make it 4 straight on the season. We'll give you a final thought on that game when we return next here on AFR.
After further review.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, do what injured people in Louisiana have done for more than 30 years. Call Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. 888-8888. It's all 8s. 888-8888. I don't even need to give you the area code because no matter where you are in the state, it doesn't matter. Just dial 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon does an awesome job, man. Great. He's a great person. They've been so invested in our communities with all the charitable and service work that they do. They give back into the communities that they represent, no matter what time of year. If it's the bike giveaway for kids around Christmas time, if it's the laptop giveaway around back to school time, if it's the charitable work they do during October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, They're always involved in the community. We tell you all the time, of course, about the G team and what Gordon's done with NIL and the opportunities that he's afforded student athletes. Just a great, great community partner. If you've been injured, you need representation, go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and reliefwindows.com. You know, when we talk about Relief Windows every day, I always say windows, doors, siding, and now shutters as well. They do your indoor shutters. Same thing as the windows. Custom made, measured to fit your windows, custom fit for your windows, lifetime warranty on your windows, your shutters. But Brandon, you often hear say their number one product is customer satisfaction. And that's not just a catchy line. That's not a cliche phrase. Have an experience with Relief Windows and you'll understand. They go to the ends of the earth to make sure their customers are thrilled with the work they do. As a matter of fact, Relief Windows never takes $1 from you. You will not, no deposit, no down payment. They take all the risk. They will not take $1 until you're thrilled with the work they do. Who else does that? Only Relief Windows. Check them out online at reliefwindows.com.
All right, welcome back in after further review here on a Tuesday. Saints will travel up to Nashville. They will face the Tennessee Titans on Sunday, looking to make it 4 in a row. That'd be the Saints' first 4-game winning streak, as Ross Jackson told us earlier, since 2020 when Drew Brees was the quarterback. The Saints won 9 in a row that year en route to a playoff appearance where they would obviously lose to the Buccaneers. So, look, things are trending up with the New Orleans Saints, and I think you look at this matchup against the Tennessee Titans, you see a 3-12 team, you see a 5-10 Saints team, and how the Saints have been playing, and you go, man, this is a great opportunity to get another one and keep building. Keep building on the success that Tyler Shuck is having, the development that Tyler Shuck is having. Keep building on the success that the defense is having and the development of young players there, like Jonas Sanker, like an Isaiah Stallbird, like a Kool-Aid McKinstry, Chase Young, even in that. Who we talked about it briefly yesterday. Chase Young's having an awesome season, y'all. Like Chase Young missed the first 5 games. He's played 10 games. He's got 7 sacks. Like that is a great ratio. That's a great pace to be on. He's starting to look like the player that everyone thought he could be coming out of Ohio State when he was the 2nd overall pick in the draft. So he's still very young, keeping the development going there. This looks on paper like it's a great opportunity to do all of those things. However, the Tennessee Titans and the New Orleans Saints are more similar than you might think, even recently. I mean, you look at these two teams as a whole, and they are two offenses that have really, really struggled for the bulk of the season. In fact, both the Saints and the Titans have each scored 24 touchdowns on the year. That's it. Both of them. And you might say, yeah, but Musso, the Saints offense is playing really well right now. And you're right, they are. In the Saints' last 3 games, in this 3-game winning streak, the Saints are averaging 24 points per game. That's well above their average for the season, which, by the way, if you're keeping score at home, is 17 points per game. You're averaging a touchdown more in your last 3. Playing really well. And look, it's helped result in 3 wins. The problem is, so are the Tennessee Titans. In fact, they're actually playing better than you offensively in the last 3 games because they've won 2 out of their last 3. This isn't like the Saints are a team just completely ascending, going one way, and the Titans are going the other. No. The Titans have won 2 of 3. The Saints have won 3 in a row. The only game the Titans lost was to the Niners, who may end up being the 1 seed in the NFC when this is all said and done. And they still put up 24 points in that game. In Tennessee's last 3, they're averaging 27 points a game. So both of these offenses are playing extremely well. Why is Tennessee playing better? Well, they found the running game, first and foremost. Tony Pollard has gone over 100 yards in the last 3 games. Those are his first 100-yard rushing games of the season. He racked up 161 against the Browns, 104 against the Niners, and 102 a week ago against the Chiefs. He's also scored 3 touchdowns. That has opened this up for Cam Ward in that offense a little bit more, something he did not have the first chunk of the season. And you're seeing him play better as well. 6 touchdowns, 1 interception in his last 3 games. A much better completion percentage and creeping up on 600 yards passing. The Saints have to stop the run. They have to stop the run in this game. Make the Titans one-dimensional. Make Cam Ward beat you with his arm. He has had his struggles with that plenty this season when he did not have the running game for the first, call it 12 games of the season. That's the task. Now, it's easier said than done. Yes, the Saints defense is playing much better. They're giving up 15 points per game in their last 7. But the one thing they've still struggled with in that time, or I shouldn't say struggled, been very inconsistent with, is their performance against the run. The New Orleans Saints have allowed just four 100-yard rushers this season. But they have allowed teams to rush well on them. It's been much more of a team effort against the New Orleans Saints running the ball. And why they may not have the luxury is the forecast in this game. It's not necessarily going to be super cold up in Nashville, but there is a 60% chance of rain in the afternoon on Sunday up at Tennessee. Now, look, the Saints acquitted themselves quite well in the rain against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers a couple weeks ago, won that game, ran the ball extremely well, and did a pretty bang-up job stopping the run that day against Tampa. Not great. I mean, they gave up well over 150 yards, but they were able to outrush the opponent and control time of possession. You saw Tyler Shuck in that game, obviously, really take hold of it with his legs. You might not have that luxury this time as Tyler Shuck's banged up with the hip. You're not going to have Alvin Kamara, as we were kind of talking with Ross earlier, probably still not going to have Devin Neal. It's going to be a very similar aspect to what you saw a week ago, which means a lot of Taysom Hill, a lot of Audric Estime, a lot of Evan Hull. Is that enough to keep pace and to control the clock against the Tennessee team that wants to do the exact same thing? I think it can be. Because while these teams are very similar, in a lot of ways, there's one difference. The Saints defense is very good. The Saints defense is now a top 10 defense in the NFL. And they have improved just tenfold over the course of the year. Tennessee is not. The Tennessee Titans defense is dreadful. It has been all season. And it still is. The Titans, especially recently too. We talked about them averaging 27 points per game in their last 3. On offense, their defense has given up 29 points per game. That is the weak unit in this game. I think that is the difference in the game. When we talked to Ross Jackson earlier, he said fast start for the Saints, which is something they haven't had a lot, create a deficit, because that also would take away Tennessee's maybe ability to run the football to get back in it. That's another way you turn the ball over to Cam Ward and make him beat you with his arm. This comes down to the defenses. The Saints had the better defense. The forecast isn't completely horrible. It's not you're going to go up there and it's going to be 20 degrees, right? I trust the Saints defense because it travels to go on the road and be able to shut down a very hot Tennessee offense. And I think the New Orleans Saints get it done and win 4 games in a row. I think they beat the Tennessee Titans on Sunday. They're a slight favorite. 2.5 is the line. I think you could see it stretch to probably about a touchdown spread for the Saints when it's all said and done for them to win the game, not the actual line. But I would pick the Saints somewhere along the line of 24-17 in this ball game against, that might be a bit ambitious. That's a lot of touchdowns for the Saints offense. Let's go, let's go 23 or 22-17ish. So not quite a touchdown spread. 22-17 though. I like the Saints to get the job done against Tennessee on Sunday. All right, we're going to grab a break, come back on the other side, close out a Tuesday edition of AFR, close out the week here on AFR with Otter Locks. That's next. Stick around.
AFR.
Tiger Stadium 15 times. That'd be roughly 1.5 million people. That's how many realtors there are in the United States. Darren James ranked number 14 in the country when it comes to the numbers of homes sold. It's Wall Street Journal's Real Trends list. Think about what I just said. Fill up Tiger Stadium 15 times, and of all those people, Darren James ranked number 14. You need to get to a closing table. Need to sell your home fast for the most amount of money. You need the absolute best customer service experience with constant communication and results. Well, you need Darren James. So, call Darren. 335-7666, 335-7666, 335-7666. That's Darren's cell. Or go to agent225.com, agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Quick reminder about Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com, lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. There are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well. 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
All right, we're closing out the week here on After Further Review, sending you off into your Christmas holiday, and we're going to do so with our Christmas gift to you. That would be winners, courtesy of our guy, the Ott Father. It's time for Otter Locks.
Otter Locks.
All right, time to win some money.
Presented by Total Maintenance AC Repair. Same-day service means you will never sleep hot. 480-1000. We are Total Maintenance.
I think it's safe to say that I won the bet.
Otter, how are you, Otter?
Good, brother. How about you?
Doing fantastic. Getting ready to start this Christmas break, man.
Yes, indeed. So, nice little. We put him out. Hunt put him out earlier today, so we got the first one in, Toledo plus the point. So that
goes.
The Western Kentucky. I forgot who was the dog in that one, but Western Kentucky or what did we put out?
I believe Western Kentucky was the favorite in that game, Otter.
No. Southern Miss went from 1.5 to 3.
Okay.
From 1.5 to 3. So I was looking at all dogs, but anyway, it's still very close, and it's going to go right down to the wire. So you're looking to play it, take the points right now. I think it's 4.5 live right now. 5.5.
Yep.
So yeah, I would recommend taking the Hilltoppers right now plus 5.5. The best bet of the night tonight's the Bobcats out of Ohio. Look, they lost their coach, a little shenanigans up there in Athens, Ohio, but everybody's playing, man. They're ready to go. They are really on a roll as of late, catching points, playing near the neck of the woods. So we like Ohio plus the points tonight. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, Hawaii plus the 1.5. That's one of our best bets on the board for the bowl season, including Matt Humans from Beeson, who will be at the game. So he's 2 for 2 in his pending games in Hawaii. The opener against Stanford, and then also as a double-digit underdog that won by 30 against San Diego State. So we're taking that one as well. So getting ready for the playoffs as well, and a lot of bowl games this weekend. So, well, continue to follow us. We'll be posting those on LouisianaSports.net.
Absolutely. So there we go. We got a live bet on Western Kentucky plus the points if you're into that. Ohio as the Otters' best bet plus the 7. And Hawaii tomorrow evening on Christmas Eve, because the Hawaii Bowl is just a Christmas tradition. I mean, quite honestly, at this point.
Yes.
What's Christmas Eve without
Jimmy Chang, brother, 12-1 against the spread the last 2 years at home. So hecka lecka ma hecka honey ho, whatever that is. So go get it.
All right, Otter. That's we just the football. No basketball or anything tonight.
No.
All right.
Just football.
All
Yep.
right, and the guys are off with the rest of us for this week. Jimmy, we appreciate the time, man. Merry Christmas, obviously, to you and yours, and we'll talk to you next week.
Merry Christmas, my man. Good luck.
Good luck. That is Jimmy Ott with Otter Locks. Man, we are just about set to get out of here. Obviously, I want to thank y'all for listening so far here this week. Scone is out until the new year. Scone will be back on Monday, January the 5th, so I'll be taking it the rest of the way here. For 2025, again, as you kind of just heard me allude to there, this is our last day. We are counting down the minutes here of this show right now, and then we're out for the rest of the week, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday to observe Christmas. We'll have a pregame show for the Texas Bowl on our sister station, Eagle 98.1. Hanny and I will be live from the Rouses on Burbank and Lee, walking you up to kickoff for the final time this season between LSU and the Houston Cougars. No post-game show. Just pregame for Eagle 98.1 game day this week. So if you're in the car, if you need something to get hyped for the Texas Bowl, we will obviously be there. Airtime 3:15. We'll walk you right up to network pregame at 6:15. They'll take you the rest of the way on the LSU Sports Radio Network for kickoff between LSU and Houston. So tune in if you will. Other than that, we are back on Monday. Wishing you all a very safe, happy, healthy, Merry Christmas with you and yours. Hope you get a lot of great gifts, eat a lot of great food, spend a lot of great time with family as well. And we will be back here on Monday recapping Saints Titans as well as LSU and Houston in the Texas Bowl. And boy, then the portal frenzy will really start. So keep it locked here on AFR and, of course, on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Merry Christmas and see you on Monday.
AFR.
Brought to you by Parish Construction Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Tell you every day do business with someone you know. That's me and Terrio and Richard Tilley and Joe Morales and Trent Davis and our whole staff. And we appreciate everyone so much who's giving us the opportunity. Our commercial roofing manager, Matt Pearson, sent us all a text that we were just awarded a large commercial roofing job today, and they heard us talking about it. And yes, of course, at your home, any roof repair, replacement, we love to help you out. We can install gutters for you. We do soft wash, do all of it. But I want to remind you that we are a commercial roofing company as well. So if your commercial building needs a new roof or repair, you have any issues whatsoever, we have the best guy. We went and scoured the world and found Matt Pearson in Florida, and we brought him to Baton Rouge. I'm convinced there's not a soul alive that knows more about commercial roofing than Matt Pearson. So if your commercial building is having any roof issues, roof repair, replacement, or you just need options, trust me, have a conversation with Matt Pearson. We'd love to help you out. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com.